Hi and welcome to Angling For You. Today you join me in the garden for a quick video, and it's a little bit of how to feed with a catapult while you're fishing on the pole. Now, I see a lot of people get this wrong, and it is a difficult skill that takes time and practice, especially when you're fishing at longer lengths. A little bit about it is getting the right catapults for the right baits, so that's what we're going to start on. So I've got two catapults here. The first one is a Preston small one. Now I've got along with these for quite a while now, and the Drennan ones I used for a long time as well, and just as good. We're going for the smaller version, and this will do up to 8mm pellets, and you're looking at sort of 25-30 yard that you can fire these quite accurately. Any more than that, especially with a smaller pellet, it'll start to hit the air friction and just disperse, you know, all over the place. So you're not really going to be firing sort of 4mm much more than your 16-meter line anyway. But this is obviously not going to do massive distance. So if you want to fish the bomb, or you want to fish sort of your pellet waggler that you want to fish a little bit further out and you want to fish a bit bigger pellet, this is the one you want. So this is another style one which is slightly thicker, elastic, and obviously can really punch out that bait and give you a lot more distance, and keep it accurate. Because what happens is, obviously when you fire it out, as soon as it loses its velocity, the wind and friction will take it and spread it. So with this, for distance, even with an 8mm pellet, you really can cannon it out and it'll give you your distance, and that's what you want obviously from a bigger catapult. But most of the times you're fishing on your pole with maggots, casters, pellets, even corn, you want this smaller catapult or a smaller catapult. I like the Prestons. They don't tangle up with the elastic. When you're flicking it, you know, it seems to come back nice, and you don't get that twist around what you do with some catapults, and it feels really nice in the hand, nice and easy to pick up. So as you all know that watch me quite often, I fish left-handed, as we are set up today. I will flip it over and show you right-handed, and we can sort of get into it, and I'll do my best to show you from right-handed as well, just because majority of you guys obviously do that. Now I've only got around 7 meters being able to hold in front of me, but the principles are the same for using a pole and firing it. It's exactly the same principles, but just longer lengths. The main things that we start off with, number one is having your pellets to hand. Now I'm notoriously short-handed in regards to my reach ability, so I have to have them quite high up and quite close to me. Sometimes that makes it a bit of an issue. The other thing is, obviously, if I had them at my right hand side, like most people, I'm going to have to reach across to put them in. So you can do one or two things. You can have them right next to here and lift them in, or you can have them over the other side. As long as you can grab hold of those pellets, that's not a problem. So I'm going to show you my left-handed, meaning to fill the catapult from both sides. So I'll show you it left-handed from this bowl, and I'll show you it left-handed from this bowl, and hopefully that'll give you the perspective. But again, it's the way you want to fish and the way you set your box up. The main thing is having it close enough that you can reach it with either your right or your left hand, depending on obviously which side fishing you are. So the pole, again, like I said, I've only got about 7 meters out, which makes it easier for filming, but obviously I've not got, I could do it at 16 meters, but obviously I ain't got 16 meters of space. So the next important thing when fishing pole anyway, or fishing when you're fishing shallow, is being comfortable. Now a lot of times when you're feeding, the pole's going to be slightly out of the water. Sometimes it'll be rested in the water, will the float when you feed, but a lot of times you can just lift your bait up and fire it in, and then flick it back over on top of it, or drop it, lower it into it. That's up to you. It depends how you fish. You can keep your pole still if you want and fire it, or you can lift it and then drop it in, depending on how you feel most comfortable. My way is, if you're accurate with you find it more accurate to lift your pole up just to get more stability to feed, and then you can lower it down, then do that if that's the way you feel comfortable. So first things first, this is the main thing that I see a lot of people get wrong. So firstly you've got to have your body side on, so you've got your both knees to rest. You've got your back knee and your elbow and your forearm to control the up and down, and then you've also got that knee there to strike. It's very important because when you are fishing shallow, you're usually picking maggots or casters or pellets up to catapult out. You have no right hand or striking hand on the pole, so that knee I can lift. Obviously there's a little bit of wind there, but that knee I can lift and strike if I need to, so I can still strike the fish while I'm firing out the bait, which is really important. So the first thing that I see that's wrong, so you can reach, like I said, we can do it from the other side, but or you can do it from this side. I'm just going to put a few pellets in. The first thing that I see is, I think that's wrong, is that people get the catapult and they use the left hand for this side that I'm fishing, obviously left-handed, the backhand that's just controlling the pole to pull it back. Now when you're pulling it back like that, look, you're moving the pole, so you see the pellets, you don't get as accurate, plus your pole's moving all over the place. The way you need to do it is to fill your pellets up. Use your left hand to just hold the pouch, don't move it. So I've got the pole where I want it now, and the power I'm gaining is from my other hand. So my other hand is pulling away and firing it right next to the pole tip. So I'll show you that again. And you don't have to put tons of power on. See, that's straight next to where the pole tip would be. So again, we'll show you it again, and we'll change some camera angles around so we can see some close-ups. But I'm keeping this hand still, and I'm moving my other hand. And it's not a lot of power needed to do 7 meters. And again, then I'm straight on top of it, and I can just lower it straight down. Like I say, if you're trying it the other way, where you're putting your pellets you're putting your pellets in, and you're using your other hand to do it, it still can be done, but you tend to be, as you can see, moving your pole out of direction because you're moving that back arm. So the pole's moving away, and it's not end of the world, you can move it back, but you're dragging your pole all over. Whereas when you're fishing and you're holding it, that arm's staying still, and it's in your other arm, so you can see it feeds straight away, and you can keep your catapult in your hand. Some people keep it in the mouth, some people rest it on the knee like so, some people drop it back in the box. That's completely how you want to do it. Personally, if I'm feeding shallow and it's sort of thick and fast, I put my finger over it, and just so I'm not scraping it on the pole, and I use it, and then I'll flick over a few times. If I've not got a bite, then I can quickly get there, and I can pull my hand out, feed again, flick over a few times, and again, same concept, float still in the water, I'm back up again, feed again, flick over, and it's that simple. Once you get into that rhythm, if you're putting it down, then you've got to pick it back up, then you've got to grab it. If you've already got it in your hand, it's just a flick over and you can fill it up, and that's the easiest way I find to do it. Now what we'll do is we'll move the camera around just to show my hands, and I'll talk you through it again while we do it in close-up, and then we'll move over to right-handed, and we'll give it a go right-handed, and fingers crossed we'll be able to do that, but we'll see. And actually, just before we do that, what we'll do is we'll move this over to the other side, because I did say that you could do that. Now, so this is where it comes. It's up to you how you want to do it. Now, sometimes I do this. Now I can feel where them pellets are. I've got them right next to my corner. They're high up. If I need my pole rollers in such a way that I can't have this here, then I have my pellets here. I can feel them. They're straight where my hand is, and I can just put my hand in and pick some up. They're at the right height, and again, I can feed. Now, if I do both of these things, I don't always have it here. That is probably the most comfiest way for me to do it, because I've got short arms, and that's probably the easiest way for me to do it. This is fine, and especially if I pellet wag, I'd be doing it that way, purely because I'd have my waggler down there and my butt section up there, and it'd be easier for me to just catapult and then pick the rod up, and that's why I would have it that side. But this is what I mean about height. So for me, that's on the verge of my reach. That's not on the verge of my reach behind me, so I can just pick that up It's nice and steady, everything's natural. Feed, boom, boom, and you're away. And that is probably the comfiest I would be on this side. What I'll do, like I say now, we'll go to a close-up, and I'll flick those out and show you how we do that from a close-up, and then we'll flip on to right-handers. Right guys, so we're back. We're just going to feed from this side, and we're going to then feed from the pellets from the other side. So again, we've got it in that bottom pouch. Move your fire hand away, and that fires out right next to the float. So again, just going to load that up, that pouch up, move that right hand away, and again we're firing it onto that peg. I'll flip these pellets on to the other side, as that is the side that I normally do have. So again, now I'm reaching slightly over myself, and I can load that up with ease. The pole's nice and steady, and it's straight on top of the float. So we'll do that one more time, and then we will swap over and we'll see some right-handed. So again, keep that pouch still, move your arm away, and it's straight on top of the float. Really simple technique, but just even if you sit in your garden with 4 meters, not firing any pellets, and just getting that technique down of moving your arm away, because it's opposite to what you'd normally do. Because like, if you're trying to pull it like that, you can see how it's a bit more restrictive. Just to pull that arm away and fire it makes so much more sense, but it takes a little bit of practice. So let's move on over to right-handed. Right guys, we enjoy the fun for me now of swapping sides. Obviously I'm not a right-handed pole user, which makes it awkward for me, but I'm sure we'll be fine to show you how to do this little part of the video. So exactly the same principle as before. Right knee, right arm, obviously on this side. Left knee, left arm on my side is the one that holds the back of the pole. On the forearm with the hand controls, you can do the flicking over, all that kind of stuff is done by this. The left knee is your support. Make sure you've got flat feet, you've got control, and that knee gives you that extra support. Some people use a bum bar, that's absolutely fine. And again, I can lift the pole with that knee if I need to strike. Now the pellets are in front of me again, just as we did the other side, but it's effectively a role reversed. Instead of grabbing everything with my right hand, I'm now grabbing things with my left hand. And like I say, I'm going to show you both sides like before we get the haters. Both sides, just showing you that you can set up either way. I'm short, I'm 5'5", I've got a short reach. This is probably economically not the best way to do it. This way is better for me. I will catch more fish. I will able to get in the water faster. So viably, that's probably the best way. But I'm showing you either way. Like I said before, if I were fishing pellet wag, and I'm left-handed obviously, it would be at this side, and my tray would be here to feed pellets from here for a shallow line, and feed from here. I would able to do for my waggler, because my waggler I'd be picking up with my right hand. So we've filled the pellets up. We're holding them with the right hand now. I'm using that left hand to pull forward and fire the pellets, exactly the same as we did before. Loading up with the left hand instead of the right hand. Just lift that up into your hand. This left hand controls the angle and the power, so if you move it too low, your pellets are going to drop out like so, which you don't want to do, which everybody's going to do. And sometimes it's a bonus because they drop down in front of your peg and you end up with some munters under your feet that you can catch on pasty. So it's not always that bad, especially when you're learning. So again, like I'm saying, the angle, and you'll get used to which angle you're firing the pellets out depending on what distance you're fishing at. And obviously you pull that hand away and fire away. And we'll do it one more time. Pull that hand away, and the pellets are right next to her. So we'll flip that over onto the other side. Now, like I was saying before, this is a shorter reach for me. It's easier for me to grab the pellets and easier for me to load up. And exactly following the exact same methodology. That little that left hand is now the pulling hand, and the right hand is the one that's trapping everything. And it's just about practice. and again they're out there and it's perfectly bang on. And it's just about practicing, and you can, you've got that right hand that can rotate it. When you're firing it out, you've got that knee that can lift up and strike. It's just about having everything close to you, getting comfortable side on the box, feet are flat, so then you've got a stable base. All those little things just aid you. If you're trying to hold your knee up and your foot plate's not right, and you've got your heel off the ground like that, you're going to get ache in your calf. You're not going to have control over how you fish. It's a big thing. If you watch the Tommy Pickering video, and I follow the same mantra. As soon as you get to the peg, lower your box possibly as low as you possibly can go, and then from there make your adjustments to make sure it's at the level. No point in having stilts. It makes reaching things and everything a bit more difficult, unless obviously you're a super tall guy and your knees are up in your chin. If you've got a lower box, then that's fair enough, but always start from a flat base. I'm going to put the pole down, and I'm just going to quickly touch on something else that is related to how I would fish in regards to throwing. Now, I don't know how it works if you're a right-handed pole fisherman, because if you're right-handed, I suppose you could just do it like I don't know, because you're gonna have your pole across you to throw out, so your throwing hand's gonna have to be your left hand, which I'm not as accurate with. I think that's maybe why I fish left-handed. Anyway, it'll make sense when I show you. So I would have, so if I've got a shorter pole and I wouldn't use the catapult, I would throw. Now this would be on this side because that's where this tray would be if I was fishing left-handed. Now I watch a lot of people and they get the pellets in their hand and they throw like that. Now if you throw like that, they go all over the place and they're not accurate. The way to do it is to get them in those 3 fingers and flick it out like that. So the motion, it creates almost a ball in the air and they all land together. So like that, for example, and they all land in a cluster. So it's a flick forward with your hand, so you're sort of rolling your hand forward, and when you get in here you're letting go. It just takes a bit of practice, and I think for short fishing that's the way to go. Anything 7 meters or backwards, depending if a bit heavier pellet, maybe I'd able to go a bit further, I would throw and then I'd catapult after, just for accuracy reasons. Now to be fair, I've never tried it right-handed, so I'll give it a go, but don't judge me. It would have to be left-handed because you're obviously holding the pole, and again, that wasn't too bad, to be fair. It's that same mentality. Most people aren't left-handed throwers, and these are the kind of things that you just want to practice. And to be fair, that's not too bad, but I feel I wouldn't have the same distance as if I had right-handed, but that's just practice, because obviously you can't throw with right-handed because you've got your pole in your hand. So again, just a little addition to using the catapult for you to try out. These are great little drills you can try in the garden, get your book section, and you can get sorted. It makes it really easy. What we're going to do is zoom in onto the bait bucket. We're going to show you some close-up catapult fires, and we'll able to see that as we did with the left-handed. So we'll cut to that now. Right guys, so I've got the pole in my hand, just pick up the catapult from underneath here. So again, it's just the opposites. So we're holding it as right hand because we need the left hand to fill it. We're filling up the catapult and we're lifting it up and grabbing it in those 2 fingers, finger and thumb, using that left hand to fire it, pull away, and again we're bang on the mark. And that's how we need to do it for most of your handed, really. And practice this with just a butt section if you want, until you feel confident with it. So again, moving that hand away, and the pellets are bang on. I'm just going to move the tub to the other side. You weren't able to see the tub on the other side, but it just gives you that principle. Now, like I said before, this is the perfect reach for me, to reach over and grab that, and that's where I would have it. More than likely, if I was fishing it, I would have it on the opposite side, and you can see, well, you can't see because it's right on the side, but that's absolutely bang on the tip of the float. and allows me to control where that float's going, and again straight on the tip of the float. And it's just practice. I could fish right-handed. I don't know why I don't. I'm comfy left-handed. That's just the way I do. So let's go back onto main camera, and we'll have a little bit of a chat before we shut it off. Right guys, so there we go. A quick, simple and easy way of practicing this at home. Get going on it now if you're into your pole fishing, because shallow season is coming. There's a jigger and there's a shallow rig on there as well, so check those videos out on the Lockdown Series playlist. Get yourself prepared, ready to go. If we get out and we've got that bit of weather to get out, this weapon, it's a weapon ready to use is this. Like I said before, get a couple of smaller ones. No worse than getting an absolute buzzing day and then your catapult snaps and you ain't got another one to do it. So like I said, it's always good to have two of those big ones if you're going to fish for that distance, and also get used to that little throwing technique for your short. Once those fish come in shorter, it's a revelation for speed. Obviously if you're right-handed, you're gonna have to practice left-handed, and if you're left-handed like me, you get to throw with your more dominant hand. If you're I'm not left-handed, but I am with a pole, but I am right-handed throwing, so I think that's where that works better for me. I'm holding pulling the catapult with my dominant hand, I'm throwing with my dominant hand, but yeah, I can use my left hand equally as well. So yeah, give those a go. Thank you very much for all the comments, all the well wishes, all the keepsafes, and all the feedback that we've been getting, ideas, interaction. The lives on Facebook's on Fridays at 7, been really good interaction on there, really enjoying that. And again on the Instagram, angling_for_you on 8 o'clock, it's been really good. The more people we can get on it, the more people that want to join, the better. It's every Friday, like I said, so get on that, keep it coming. And from me and my family, keep safe to all you that are watching. I really do appreciate you watching. It makes me feel like that I'm doing something and giving back. So that's that, as much as you want them, the more I'll keep going. If I haven't touched on something that you've suggested, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's the fact of getting the actual item to do it with, and I will try my best to cover that. If I've said that, I will. So again, share, like, subscribe with your friends. Thank you very much for watching as always. Join us on the next one. Thanks a lot guys. Ta-ra.